The next step in this adventure is to find a home for the amplifiers, which is going to be behind the seat. There's an amplifier and a subwoofer back there, which we've already taken out and I didn't film. Didn't think about it. The amplifier mounts right here and the subwoofer goes along here. Once you remove it, it frees up all that space and it basically looks like just any other Ford F-150. Over here is some jacks and whatnot. That may need to come out because we have two very long amplifiers that are going to go in here. And speaking of the amplifiers, now would be a good time to go ahead and take a look at what we have. We have two of them. Bring them both out. Voce AV 5.1K HD 5-channel amplifier with digital inputs. 1650 watts of total power. This is a full DA amplifier. Now what does that mean? We'll get to it in a second. In the box is the amplifier, naturally. They do make two versions of this amplifier. This is the HD version, and they make the non-HD version, which just has regular RCAs. If you look at this end of the amplifier, you'll notice it does not have any RCAs at all. It just has your inputs and your outputs with your AD and your AC link cables. On this end, you have your battery, ground, and cap, speaker terminals, and your remote input. On the top, you have gain controls for channel A, B, and C, but when we're looking at the side of the amplifier, you also see you have the ability to turn the gains off. Inside is a bag of parts. We have the quick start guide, test tones and owner's manual, warranty, bag of screws and fuse with Allen key. And then there's two cables in the bag. They're about 1 meter long, both of them. And what they're for is here on the end where you have your AD link and your AC link. That's where those go. Now these are gonna go off to the Bit HD DSP. For right now though, we'll just unplug these and set them back in the box. Let's take a look at the quick start guide. It gives you your dimensions. It's 18.5 inches by 8.66 inches. So that's your length and your width. There's 4 screws that hold it in place, and of course these are removable panels. Underneath the removable panel here is where the fuse goes. The capacitor input that we were talking about is for adding just that, a stiffening capacitor if you need one. They also give you a speaker cable chart, length versus size, and also a power supply cable. There again, length versus current draw. In the owner's manual, it talks about your remote input output when connecting to a bit. Then they give you ideas of how to use the amplifier. Things to use and things not to use. Underneath this panel, there is an LCD display screen that will allow you to go through and set them up. And on the last page, it gives you if you're just going to be going out of a head unit into a bit, out into the system, and how you configure this as just one 5-channel amplifier. So there's a lot of helpful information in here, and I'm sure you can download this guide online if you want to get more in depth with it, because they give you this, which is the full version of it. Most computers now don't actually read these anymore, so I'm sure it's on their website. Test tracks, we have a sine sweep, white noise, pink noise, sine wave of 50 kilohertz at 0 dB, and a sine wave of 1 kilohertz, 0 dB. Those are both 2 minutes. The pink noise is 10 minutes. So that'll be helpful. Now last but not least, let's talk about why we picked this amplifier and the actual amount of power it has. So this is designed to work between 11 and 15 volts. It's not stop start approved. This truck, we're bypassing the stop start. Idle current is 3 amps. Idle current when off is 0.02 milliamps. Basically nothing. Consumption at 14.4 volts, max musical power. That means this thing's just blasting away is 110 amps. Power output on this amplifier, it is a 5-channel. It has a Class A stage for channel 1 and 2, Class AB stage for channel 3 and 4, and a Class D stage for channels 5, or A, B, and C. Channel A is 75 by 2 at 4 ohms. Channel B is 140 by 2 at 4 ohms. And C is 600 by 1 at 4 ohms, 1000 by 1 at 2 ohms. This is going to be powering the tweeters, the rear speakers, and the subwoofer. And that's it. What's going to power the front door speakers? Well, let's take a look at that. For those, we're going to be using this guy, the Voce AV Duo. I know, right? It's tough. 900 watt power amplifier. It is 260 watts times 2 at 4 ohms, which is what we're going to be running it. and it is just the same size as the other amplifier. In the box, we get a similar quick start guide, a sticker, a warranty card, fuse and screws, and a CD. Let's see what's on this CD. We get the same 5 test tracks and the owner's manual. This amplifier is the exact same size as the 5.1. Looking at the end, we have essentially the same type of connections. We have battery, ground, and the capacitor input. We have left positive negative, and we have right positive negative, our remote turn on. Flipping it over, this one has RCAs. Uh-oh, what does that mean? It also has a gain control on top. It's a 2-channel amplifier. We're gonna be doing a bit system with no RCAs. So what we need to do now is pull out this input stage and put the digital input stage in. This guy right here, the AV bit in HD. This is designed to turn this amplifier into the bit system. As you saw, now it has those same ends that were in the 5.1. It also has those same 2 cables that came with the other. And of course, very helpful instructions. We'll just set this aside because once we get it apart, we'll put the RCAs in the box. Let's get started, shall we? According to the instructions, we want to start on the bottom and we'll remove these 2 screws right here. It is a number 2 Phillips. Keep rocking it back and forth a little bit. And that's it. So with it out, you can see there's a lot of little tiny pins that have to line up. Definitely don't force the issue when pulling it in and out. Just gently work on it. Now it doesn't show that you need to remove this top piece right here, but it did make it easier to get in there and just kind of like push both at the same time. Grab our new unit. Has the same pins. Inspect the pins. Just give them a once over and make sure that they're all straight, just in case something happened in shipping. Line it up. There are 2 little grooves. There's a little groove here and one matching on the other side. Put our old preamp section back in the bag. Replace the 2 screws. And now we're full bit. Put our cover back on here for now. And now we have the same inputs on the end as we did on our 5.1. This amplifier's job is to just run the mid bass in the door. This is the Bit 1 HD. Has Toshlink input and obviously the ability to do a full DA system. This is going to be controlling all our stuff. Now in the box, there again, it's your owners and you get a card. That's right, this is a special purchase. Serial number, model number, and you can register it. This is our input side here. It has 6 inputs. Speaker level input, the controller, the DRC, I'll show you in a minute. Auxiliary, remote in and out, Toshlink inputs. On the back side, we have 13 outputs and our AD and AC link outs 1 and link outs 2. These are what's gonna go off to our amplifiers. This is our DRC controller. Owner's manual with 2 CDs. We have 2 AC link cables here. We have 2 AD link cables here. So these are gonna be longer than the 1 meter set that came with the amplifiers. The RVA cable, screws and mounting brackets for the DRC. The DRC cable, it's a phone style connector on one end, and this end here is what plugs into the side of that. We also have an aux to RCA adapter, and then some mounting screws. Now if you haven't picked up on it, Audison does really good at putting everything in bags. USB cable for programming, our speaker level input plug, then our aux, optical, and 4-pin connector that was on the other side. So tons of cables come in the box. Warranty card. Test tracks. This has the same 5 tracks, but also adds a pulse track, I'm guessing for polarity. And this is the same as this. This one does have the owner's manual and Bit HD software on it. This is the owner's manual for the DRC, which is the little controller. It's also a giant road map. Audison loves to do these type of owner's manuals. I guess if you want to see everything all at once, you're golden. Oh boy, this would make a really cool poster just to hang on the wall. All right. So the 4-pin plug, according to this, is to do like switches to control your inputs. Aux input, RCA, USB for programming, dates on and off, low level, 6 inputs there, high level, and then our A, D, and AC connections. Our touch link inputs here. This is an overview of everything. Definitely want to take a look at it. We'll set this into our stack of owner's manuals that we have right now. And last but not least is the Nav TV Zen A 2B. This is what's going to make all this happen, is this little box right here. That's it. I know, right? If you guys have heard us talk about Amp Pro or AR, Zen is another version of that. It allows us to integrate into the factory stereo and give us a preamp section, not doing high level to low level. It takes out all the EQ curves and all the nonsense and just gives us a nice clean output. In this case, a touch link, which is gonna go into that bit HD. But if you didn't wanna do that, this will give you 12 channels of output. You have the factory plug here. This ties into the existing wiring, plugs into this. So essentially it is a plug and play. You have the USB for updates, and on the bottom of the box here is the owner's manual. On the side of the unit, this USB here is for the factory BO system to plug into. So all the factory connections will be on this side. This harness is going to plug in here. And then on this side, these are all your preamp inputs as well as your touch link. The 12 RCAs that this come with, 1, 3, and 5 are left and right front. 2, 4, and 6 are also left and right front. That'd be if you have a 3-way set. 7 and 8 are rear doors. 9 and 10 are left rear center, right rear center. 11 is center and 12 is sub. Now with the software, it does give you some options for the preamp outputs. If there is some issues with the phone, volume and whatnot. But yeah, fun. Now these are all the pieces that have to fit on that back panel back there. That's why I just went ahead and got them all out. We have to figure out how these are all gonna fit. Now right off the bat, the A to B has to be here because that's where the factory wiring is. Right now it's just tucked over there. That's small, that can go right there. Having the DSP close to it's probably a good idea. That way we don't have to go with a super long touch link cable to it. And then the 2 amplifiers are gonna go somewhere along this way. I'm gonna go ahead and fold down this seat and remove the jack because I know I'm gonna need that space.